Hello everybody, I'm gonna bring you the guide today for the Illuvium Gauntlet when playing Psions. Psions are your mages in Illuvium Gauntlet, as many of you might already know, and we're gonna play the video right here. I have it pre-recorded, it was a really good game, that's why I wanted to show it to you all. And we're gonna check and see what it's all about. We're gonna start in wave number 3, so after the PvE rounds. This one is pretty good, but you need to suicide a unit because once it's vanquished, this augment will start. This one has been nerfed a lot, so it's really good for your rogues, for example. It reduces the enemy resistances early on in the match. For the first 10 seconds, they have minus 25 resistances, I think, at the moment. So it's not that detrimental, especially when playing Psions. And then we have Nemesis Mark, which every 5 seconds, I think it does 100 true damage and reduce the healing of the max health enemy target. So this one is a very solid pick overall, and the longer the fight lasts, the better this is gonna be. And we're gonna see in a minute how strong it really can be once we see how much damage actually this Nemesis Mark can put out. Once again, we can actually see how many times it will trigger. I think it's every 2 seconds, actually. Yeah, every 2 seconds, the highest health receives a permanent minus 5% healing debuff. And is dealt 100 pure damage. So in 10 seconds, that is 500 pure damage, which is quite a lot. Anyway, I got super lucky here in round number 3. We were able to get a two stage 2 flishes and 2 stage 2 Atipos. So pretty much guaranteeing a win streak early on. That's why we level up. I use some of those mastery points to push for level 3, push for level 5 actually. Now we're gonna put this Nemesis Mark augment on a unit that will stay alive. Our ranger got the staff to put out a lot of shields, and I forgot to put on one more unit. But basically with this Atipo right here, we have 4 Empaths, 2 Psions. The Atipo here, the Fire Atipo, didn't make a big difference because the threshold is at 3 Empaths right now and then 5. But just the Atipo on its own is a very good tank because all the Empaths get now a big shield for themselves. That's the new Empath effect. So, which makes them really tanky. I don't know if that's going to be nerfed in the future because right now it feels like Empaths are the better tanks over Bulwarks, especially in the early and mid game, because they are tanky with that shield and then they have shields to sustain even more after the first shield runs out. And yeah, I'm gonna fast forward as much as possible here, so we're gonna jump a little bit because I don't think I'm gonna do much here in the early game. I'm gonna stay with those 4 Empaths, 2 Psions, and just gonna have a nice corner position, and really that's as lucky as you can get because I got the Earth and Nature Flish and I got the Earth and Nature Atipo. So I have 2 Nature, 2 Earth activated, and it's just a perfect start. And really with this augment, this is I think the best augment that I could have chosen by far because it just rewards if the fight is long. So I think I'm gonna go into the damage graph very soon right here, and we can see this white bar right here of the Atipo. That is all true damage. White means true damage, blue is magic damage, energy damage. So right here, it's just the Atipo is the top damage dealer with the other Flish, with just this augment. And yeah, it's just such a good augment for what we're playing here because we have long fights. We have a lot of sustain with those Empaths. And yeah, let's fast forward again, see what's happening in the next round. I think not much. I'm just cleaning up. I want to get to 10 gold just to get a little bit of income. And I've bought some units here. I think the Twine will be pretty good later on, and we can bring in 2 Bulwarks to get even more tankier. Because with this augment and the Flishes, we have the damage already. So now we're just looking for sustain. And yeah, I'm just buying a few T0s. And trying to stay at 10 gold, so I get 1 income right now with 10 gold. Plus the gold for the win streak. Plus the gold you get naturally. So yeah, that's pretty good. And you might wonder, hey, I'm really committed to Atipos, to Empaths and Psions. Why do you even bother buying those rogues? I'm probably not gonna play it. That is right, but if suddenly there is like 2 copies of Gorillas and 2 copies of Chukrals next round, well, with 2 stage 2 and giving me Predator, I might bring them in, right? And as long as it doesn't cost me income, you might wanna just, even those 2, like the shield and the armor, just buy everything if it doesn't cost you income, because that gives you more options and more possibilities of hitting stage 2 things that can give you a big power spike. Grid and Resolve is nice, your team gets a 250 health shield, which would be crazy, getting even more shields, and then we have stacking damage. So I think we're going for the grid and resolve because we already have so many shields. And yeah, we're just gonna make our Earth Atipo here our main tank. What you usually want to do is put both of the augments on the same unit because they enhance each other and make it even better. And I think we're gonna do this in a later round. Here we have a Fern, really good empath as well. Provides a little bit of stun, CC, crowd control to drag out the fight even longer, give us more time. But yeah, that's basically it. We are against the corner positioning here, but he has a fighter, he has 2 small tanks, a lot of stage 1 units. And I just have everything stage 2, which is, again, really, really crazy. And there is where a lot of luck comes in for a win streak. Then obviously you need to pull it off as well. So you need to, like, you know, you need to level at the right times, position right. Like, you cannot make big detrimental mistakes anyway. Otherwise you lose your win streak and you're gonna be left with very little economy and in a pretty bad position. So sometimes if you're not sure, hey, next round, can I actually keep my win streak going, or will I lose anyway, even if I level up? Just save your economy. Because if you level up, spend all your gold down to 0, and then you lose your lose streak, you're basically back at the beginning of the game with no gold. Here I was a little bit too slow to get the 20 gold for the 2 income. Not a big deal, we're versus a PvE round here. Let's fast forward a little bit, up to 32 gold. Now we're on 40. And yeah, we're still getting carried here by our early luck, but right now we are versus a really strong enemy here as well. He has the stage 2 Tatapi, which does a little bit more consistent and reliable damage than the Flish. Then he also has the 2 Atipos. He has a Groku here, stage 2, with the Ranger, giving him 3 Bulwarks, 2 Empaths. But he swapped out his 2 Scions, so he doesn't have 2 Scions anymore. He went for the 3 Bulwarks instead here with the Axon. And it seems like he just doesn't have the damage to get through our tanky Empaths right here. We already killed 2 of his units. Our Atipo is almost going down. Finally, it is going down. But yeah, the TNT is a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough to get through all of our Empaths here. We have our lasers. And slowly but surely, we're wearing him down. Here we have the final Abunding, which is going to give us the most damage in this situation. And it's going to be really, really good for a Scoriox or a Furiox. So because it has crit chance, crit amp, and Omega power. This is really good on, for example, rogues who like crit chance, crit amp, and Omega power. With rogues with big casts like, I don't know, a Dash, a Ramphie, and so on. But it's also good on a Scoriox. But it wouldn't be the ideal augment on, for example, Octius or stuff that doesn't really rely on auto hits. So you gotta find that unit that likes to have strong auto hits but also strong ability casts. How are we gonna do the redo the augments? Put both on the same unit. I'm not too slow. There we go. Right here we're playing against a lot of stage 1 units, which is usually a good indicator that his team is pretty weak. And we're just gonna jump through it because we haven't changed our team since the beginning. We brought in a Fern to get to 5 Empaths, but I'm again at 50 gold already, so it's looking pretty solid. And I think we could, like, if we now feel like, oh, this is a strong opponent, we could use like 20-30 gold to get up to level 7. You want to stay above 30 gold in general, so you don't want to go all the way down to 0. It's just so risky. Usually it's not worth the win streak. I'm almost too slow here, but managed to swap the positioning onto the other side. And yeah, I don't think we're gonna have any problem here. And yeah, we're gonna basically jump through and see who is the first one who can take us down, take our win streak away from us. Matu, extremely tanky Psion unit, can do a lot of damage as well. We find our first Fury, actually our second. So I keep rolling a little bit. Here is the Apon, we already have 2 Mystic Staffs. So if we find the third one, we're gonna have Mystic on our Ranger, Mystic on the Apon, which is again gonna be so much sustain with the stun from the Apon, with the buff from the Mystic, which is right now I think the most broken unit in the game. And we're just gonna put our Apon over here, so hopefully some lasers go over this side and doesn't hit our main group of units. I don't know how smart that was, because probably Apon right here providing stun, and there's a reason why the clump is so good, right? If you all have them clumped up together, they can really help each other. But in this case, it's kind of nice. We're splitting them up. We're giving ourselves a little bit more survivability this way. There is never really one perfect positioning. Or usually there's just many really good positionings that so you shouldn't always do the same, and try to experiment a little bit when you can. And do stuff like this, maybe get one unit out of the clump, especially if it's against a Fern, against lasers, against units that target the furthest enemy. You can have a 50-50 and maybe all those stuns, all those abilities target the Apon, which would be really good. For example, the laser right here. Alright, this one is arguably the best one for Scions. It gives you energy regen and piercing 20% energy resistance to all the units around you. So this way your main damage dealer can have 2 big augments, plus he gets the buff from this one. It buffs units in the area. We found our first TNT. Looks like we're not gonna find 3 of those. We're still fishing for the Mystic, so that's why I'm not really leveling up. I'm still rolling on 6 gold, because I have a 40% chance on tier 1 things. So I just want to keep rolling, want to keep finding. I stopped now 40 gold because it's a PvE round. Sometimes I like to keep rolling in PvE rounds just to use the time efficiently, because oftentimes in the late game you run out of time if there's so much things to do. But if you manage to roll after the income has been distributed, you're gonna get more. So usually you don't want to spend your gold in a PvE round or before the round has ended and you have gotten your income. Here is another Apon, so we're trying to go for stage 3, which is not gonna make a big difference for us. So don't know if that really was a good idea, because Apon, if you're not going for a mud unit like the Exalted Monk here or Gorilla, doesn't really matter if it's stage 2 or stage 3. Now we find the Mystic stuff on our Ranger. We got a little bug here, no suit or weapon are found in the armory. So I equipped it again and just hope for the best that it stays on. I think I'm even selling the staff just to be sure. Ace, a really good Scion as well. I have already 1 ace on the bench. We went to level 7 since we finally found the Scion. Do a little reposition, a little bit too late here. And we brought in the Matu just to be more tanky. We don't need more damage right now. It's all about staying alive. We got the Squiz ready, 2 Furies. So if we roll a little bit better, also 2 aces if I hopefully buy it. If we keep rolling a little bit, it's gonna help us out. Once we hit those units, we're gonna get big power spikes. But yeah, we're still on 100 HP. We're still winning here. And this round is also no difference. Very easy for us to still, because of that early win streak, those early stage 2 units, we were able to get so much money through it. And now we're just able to live off that, basically a little bit of a reposition. I like the Matu in here. We ended up buying the ace. And right here, I think I didn't really check, because this guy is 89 health. I think he lost only 1 or 2 rounds on this, basically the second strongest player. So it might have been good. Quick little swap for the Tatopy, alright. Might have been good to go for level 8, but like I said earlier, if I go for level 8 here, spend all my 40 gold. And then I lose, I'm on 0 gold, and, you know, compounded interest, once you're down very low in money, it's really hard to build it up again. So, probably the better decision to just stay high up on gold and just accept the lose right here, because yeah, as you can see, we're having a hard time. We're still on Flishes. Like, we're still basically playing the setup that we found with level 3 here. Not much has changed. We got Mystic in, but yeah, it's basically Empaths and a few Flish Scions. So you can see it on the damage dealt. We're kind of missing damage. So we do have to sustain, but now we gotta work on the damage. We're gonna wait till the next round gives us the income, and then probably we're gonna roll a bit. We can also, now that we lost our win streak, we don't need to stress anymore, right? We have 85 health. Which means we can just keep on building up economy up to 70 gold, the maximum income, and sacrifice a little bit of health for that. We don't need to push now for the strongest board, because we don't need to sustain a win streak. We went for the stacking Omega power just to boost our damage. It's going to be very good with the power ascent right here. So we're going to sell the Fleesh, get in the Fury. Might not be the strongest unit right now, but with the augments. And yeah, we're not gonna roll here, will be 2 flare as well, but our bench is full with all units that I kind of want to bring in. We're gonna roll a little bit down to 40 gold, but now I should stop. 39, oh, now I hate the units. I should have stopped, but... So what are we doing now? A little bit out of time, a little bit too late to roll. I should have just stopped at 40 gold, I think, because now we rolled down, but nothing much happened. We went for 6 Empaths, doesn't help us much. The threshold is 5 and 7. So yeah, I was just running out of time to actually then build my best board with the roll that I did, and I lost 1 gold by going below 40. Not the end of the world, but always some things you could do a little better. I think Fury is gonna, even though it's stage 1, if it's not dying here, it's gonna do so much damage and should be enough to carry us this fight, because we have to sustain again, right? And now with the Fury, we have the constant damage. It dies in the end, but most enemy units are dead. All his damage dealers are dead, just the Empaths left. Usually Empaths right here don't go so well with the rogues that he's playing, because the Empaths are never going to be really in range for the rogues, so it's not the best synergizing two compositions. He also had some science in there, so yeah, a little bit all over the place. Let's see, we found the Furiox, perfect timing. I hope this time stay on 30 gold, keep your economy strong. We have enough health to take some hits. We don't need to roll down your economy to get the stronger board. You're still doing it, aren't you? This has been like 2 days, 3 days ago, so I'm not 100% sure about every play that I made, so sometimes I'm surprising myself right here. And it's funny to call out myself, I think. I don't know if this is still a bugged stuff right here. We're selling the Fleeces. Fleeces usually don't make it into the late game, and TNT or Ace are gonna be a better choice. Gonna put out the Atipo, bring in the Ace. Now we got 5 Empaths, 3 Scions, looking way better than the 6 Empath composition. Atipo, super strong Empath. 1 or 2 Atipos usually make it into a late game composition. Not like the Fleece or the Volante. Basically, Atipo right now, I think, is the strongest tier 0. Because it's the only one that actually stays in a late game composition. Ace here has a really good line. Lace is fired down below a lot of units, and we can see it represented in the damage here. Without augments, out damaging Furiox until it died, and now Furiox is taking over for the late game damage. And as long as that guy gets uptime and some Omega power stacks, it's gonna do so much. It's not perfect augments yet. The stacking Omega power would be better on something else. And I think we should look for something like stacking attack speed on the Furiox. Usually Furiox, you want 1 like damage augment and 1 attack speed augment. One that boosts your attack damage, your Omega power, something offensive. And then the second one should be attack speed, which complements the pure damage augment very well. We're getting closer to a stage 3 monkey, but I don't think it was really worth holding on to it. Like I said, if we find it, it's not going to be a win condition. It's just nice to have, but those 3-4 gold that is sitting constantly on our bench could have been a lot of income and could have added up to 10 to 20 gold over the course of the full game where we held on to that monkey. Easy PvE round. Here we have a legendary augment phase. Evasive Veiling is going to give us a lot of time, because after a certain threshold, 40%, the unit is going to be untargetable, it's going to blind, and lethargic. Lethargic meaning you cannot get mana, no energy, to all enemies. So basically it just disables everyone in the enemy team for 3.5 seconds. Saccharine Escape gives you a lot of attack speed under threshold, doesn't really matter. And Vanquisher's uplink can be nice, but it's not really consistent. If you trigger it in the wrong time, or it goes on the wrong units, the effect of 100 energy and becoming immune and invulnerable, it's useless. So this one is the most consistent performing augment of those 4s. And it's just gonna give us so much more sustain and uptime. Here we're gonna bring in our nature Atipo over the earth Atipo, because this way we have 2 nature, 2 earth activated, instead of just 3 earth. And it's always good to round out your affinities and not be too polarizing. Sometimes you want to go full polarizing, you want to go 9. I've seen a lot of 9 water happening, like full water builds. But in most cases a balanced... come on. Alright, Ace being out here is not a big problem. But in most cases, balanced affinities are gonna perform really well. So the Ace, if it gets focused here, it can usually fly away. So Ace can oftentimes like tank a little bit against rogues and stuff, and then just fly away. Enemy here got the Siphoros, which is Invoker. All the lasers onto my guy, which kind of helped my guys here, right? So maybe that was exactly the play we needed. It would have been probably better if we had a monkey here in the corner instead of the Artes. That would have been perfect, right? Monkey takes like 4 lasers, keeps everybody here alive, just sacrifices himself. But even with the Artes, it seems like it has been enough, because now our Furiox just a constant damage. It's not so bursty like the other Scion units. And yeah, the C4 is super strong unit, but you need the second invoker for him. So you need the stage 2 Alfie, the stage 2 Shrimp, or the stage 3 Ophisto, or the stage 3 weapon on the Ranger, which will never happen, or an invoker emblem. But yeah, it's a good Psion, but it's gonna be that game-changing main carry once you get invoker activated, which is just an Exodia trait. The longer the fight goes, the more you're just gonna one-shot everything. Right, our composition looks pretty good. I think we're gonna look into a little bit of a reposition. We have Fernite here in the corner because he casts to the furthest enemy, which is gonna be either up here or up here. And then it's gonna hit a lot of units of my units in the way. And if it hits our units, it's gonna buff them with bonus attack speed. It's gonna debuff all enemies with minus attack speed. So here we're playing against Psions as well, a bit of a corner positioning. That's why we spread out like this. So the lasers and the Fernite stuff is not gonna hit like 1, 2, 3, 4 units in one row, but we're spread out, so that can't happen. Fernite actually is being blocked here, doesn't have enough range to come in. Here comes the Alpha laser, and it just hits those two guys. It doesn't hit all our guys over here. So overall, good positioning. Our Artes is going crazy with the 8,000 damage. And yeah, we're looking pretty good here. So we lost so far 1 round. And at this point, if you have like first big win streak, you might lose 1 game, but then you go on another big win streak, you're gonna be in a very good position. All that matters now is that you find 1 big stage 3 unit, which is your win condition. Could be Scoriox, could be Matu, could be Ophisto, even Octius is gonna help you a lot. Matu right here is gonna help us a lot as well. We're also gonna try to find the Gazier to get them 3 Mystic on board. That would be pretty cool and really strong. Mystic right now, I think the most broken trait next to Toxic. Here is a lot of rogues coming in. So we're preparing our team up for the rogues. We have the Apon here to stun everybody. And on the outside, the Artes. Let's see if he can stay alive and fly away before he gets bursted down. I don't think so. Not if 3 units hit it. Let's see. Oh, he's actually doing a little reposition, which then means all 3 are gonna actually hit the Artes now. And it flies away. The problem is Gyro still hits it. It lost all the aggro of the melee units, but at least it put some fire down. Enough damage to help us out. It was like 3,000 right here. Not too bad. Lethargic, but yeah, he got us. He got us here. He's also very tanky with the Colossus. So here comes our second loss. See if we can fast forward a little bit, see what we're gonna do. Oh no, I was cursing a little bit here. So we got the Swift Strike with the stacking attack speed for the Furiox. So I want to put Furiox on the bench, right? I wanted to swap it with the Artes, didn't happen. Artes is bigger, so it doesn't fit in. Then I wanted to put it here, or I wanted to swap it with the Matu. So I click on the Matu, boom, minus 11. I just sold my main carry. That got me a little bit mad. There is another Fury, so I bought the Fury, brought in the Matu, put the attack speed now on the Fernite. We're gonna also swap positioning. If I'm smart, and don't forget, and usually I do forget, but if I'm smart, I'm gonna put the Monkey here. Because the Monkey versus enemy sounds is not gonna do much. So Monkey over here, maybe spreading out my units a little bit more along the line, so those lasers hit like single targets and not all of them at once. Could help a lot. But there's also a point to be made where if they're close, they're gonna help each other. For example, the Atipo gives everybody shields and heals and so on. So if you're strong enough to survive the first burst of lasers, it can be better to stay clumped up. So it's basically free mana for everybody that got damage, and you're gonna heal yourself back up. So we're gonna see how it works out. Definitely a Monkey over here would have been better. Just to, for example, get that Alpha laser. Take a little bit of pressure off my main units over here. It's looking pretty good though. Enemy damage dealers have been killed. Matu is just a monster doing decent damage with the Artes. We're looking pretty good in here. I'm a bit mad I forgot my sweet little market tool in the beginning of the video, but better late than never, because I think it helps a lot to see what I'm actually talking about, especially if you're not so used to all the names of the units and everything. So we're looking, look at that, we're still sitting on those Apons, so that's what I mean. Like, it's not gonna win us the game, so we shouldn't have invested so much and have so much dead gold on our bench sitting around, just taking income away from us. But with this app right here, we're very close to a Gazier giving us another Mystic. This is gonna be something, a big power spike and somewhat game changing. We want to make space for him, and I think because we don't want to sell the Squeeze, we also don't want to sell him. Okay, we sell the Mamu, but we should have just sold the Apon. I'm kind of married to the Apon now because, you know, I've been holding on for it so long. I don't want to sell it now. But we should actually transition into Mamu because, as you can see right here, tier 4 units Mamu, 24%, tier 1 units, 25%. So once we hit level 8, we're going to have a better chance at Mamu than on the Apon. And there we go, we got the Gazier with 3 Mystic. At this point, it's pretty much GG. If we don't make like big mistakes, we still have 80 gold right here, right? So now we're just rolling down, fishing for other stage 3 units to solidify our positioning and solidify our strength here. We got the Octius 1. It used to be the best Psion, I think, but now Artes kind of does more damage, which shouldn't be the case. Sinalf definitely does more damage, and it has fallen a little bit behind, I feel. We're still gonna augmentize it. It's still the best one here. I think Artes, if it pops off, it's gonna do a lot of damage anyway. And the Octius, it wants to have those damage augments because then it can, the first cast, it kills a unit. If it kills something with the first cast, it gets a second cast, which is where most of its strength lies. Here, a big stun from the Monk here. Octius actually getting focused by the Riplan, so that's pretty bad. We got the Gazier here with the Blind and Lethargic triggering now, giving us a little bit more time. But it seems like the Riplans can go through our backline. We still have a full Mammoth, so that's pretty bad if your tank is left alive. Last unit standing. You did some big mistakes in positioning. So if my Mammoth instead of here was here protecting the Octius right here and catching that Riptorus, it would have performed way better. But it is what it is. And I think, yeah, we're just down to 3 people now. And I think they both are playing Riplans. So now the question is between those 2 augments, just defensive augments. We choose the minus 15% damage. It performs a little bit better in the late game. It's a little bit more universal. We're gonna reroll. We finally found our Furiox again, which selling it set us back a little bit. So now the Furiox is gonna come in with the extra attack speed and like the perfect augments for him, really. Octius is gonna get the rest. Matu is gonna be our main tank somewhat. And then Gazier right here with this augment is gonna be kind of our last guy standing before they come into our backline. A little bit of a reposition. Sneak all my guys back in, and this time Matu should be up here. But Artes, okay. So right now, if the Riplans comes here again, oh, there we go. There we go, very close to the Monarch. So if the Riplans goes here, gonna attack the Artes. Artes is gonna fly away, and then the Riplans is gonna go my Octius, get like an entry now to our backline. So that's not ideal. Let's see if it happens again. And it seems like it's going to be happening again, so I didn't learn from my last positioning. Here comes the Riplans. This time it's going to be stuck on the Gazier first, which is good. So it's, yeah, but yeah, like I said, Octius down again. Not too bad though, because now our main carry is Scoriox. And it seems to me like there is going to be enough time on the Scoriox, enough uptime to take down everybody that is left. 16,000 on the Riplans here. The Riplan's definitely one of those hyper carries, similar to my Furiox, which is a bit unfair that my Furiox on stage 2 is already the hyper carry, but hey, it is what it is. Here come 2 more Matus, so we're getting very close to those stage 3 units here. Still sitting on our Apom, but that's okay. That's okay. We live and we learn. But if you're playing like a stage 3 Gorilla, like this guy right here, you definitely want to have that Apom, because Mud is a very strong composition now, and that's gonna help you a lot. Alright, we found the Monarch. At this point, I would actually, in hindsight, maybe put those damage augments from the Octius, at least the stacking Omega power. I would put it on Monarch, because that is such a beast right there. Running out of time, Monarch in the other corner. That's a pretty good plan. Let's see if he can survive the Scions. Okay, we redecided. And the funny thing is, now I do the positioning that I needed versus the right plans. Because now we have a different story. Now the rogues come in here and they will try to enter my backline from this side. There is not that many rogues. There's still the right plans though, so actually it's fine. Matu is doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Throwing away, guys. Throwing the right plans away. Look at that. Gonna have one more throw. Is it gonna be on the right plans? No, but I think we're gonna see it later how strong Matu and how well Matu synergizes in a Scion composition. Just throwing those fighters away, giving them less uptime onto my units. Alright, again, versus the right plans here. I think it's just us two anymore. You want to keep repositioning, just keep your opponent guessing. Don't reposition every time, right? Some players, like I saw Viper from his pro player career, still has the habit of flipping a coin to actually decide if he's going to switch or not, because then he is completely random and nobody can read into his patterns. Otherwise, it's similar like poker players. You don't want to make your decisions that, like, some decisions should just be completely random, to not give any tips, any hints to your opponent, to give them any opportunity to read you. So yeah, just those mind games, I like it. I think it's kind of boring if you flip a coin, you take out the mind games. I really like to, you know, it's like rock, paper, scissors, one of my favorite games ever. Because you can really get into the head of your opponent, it feels like. Especially if you play like a best of 7 or something. You have a lot of rounds. Anyway, back to the game. We have the Matu in the middle, tanking a lot of those guys. Monkey gets a stun out, which is just so important here. Matu is gonna get his ability out, gonna throw this guy away. And he's also gonna throw the right plans away, and that's what I mean. Like, just putting right plans from here back to here gives us enough time to win this round. It might have not been enough otherwise. And yeah, he's on 50 health, so we're gonna see it again. And yeah, 12,000 damage here, 12,000 damage, also on the right plans. We just have more sustain to take that damage. We're getting Inferno now, which is very tempting. Void Cleaver would be good on the Furiox, but we already have something. Those two are not really as good as Inferno, I think. So I think we're gonna go with Inferno. Oh, we go with Saccharine Escape, okay. Who is Saccharine? I wish we would have gone with Inferno. Saccharine Escape just on the outside backline unit here. So once they come in here, they're gonna go on the Octius and then he's gonna drop aggro again. So it's definitely a good augment. I think Inferno would have been a little bit better. Just giving us so much more damage. Here comes the stage 3 Matu, so that is huge. That's just gonna, you know, put the last nail in the coffin of our opponent. Here is a PvE round, so we're gonna fast forward a little bit. And yeah, he's trying. The only good thing, the thing is, I didn't find them, right? And there's a reason why I didn't find them in 28 rounds. It's because my enemies are going for them as well. So even though I said, hey, they're not that important and I shouldn't have that gold sitting on my bench, it was actually really good for me to have them, because I was denying him to get the Apon, which would have given him mud, or at least the other player with the stage 3 gorilla would have gotten mud. So 3 players were going for Apon, and even though I didn't need it, I was blocking it from the other players. So in the end, it wasn't a bad decision at all to do that. And our positioning right here is looking decent. We're gonna have our Octius here on the side, just being annoying with the Saccharine Escape dropping aggro. We have the same thing up here. And then in the middle, we have our unkillable Demon King, the Mammoth, stage 3 now, just chucking units left and right. You're gonna see it in a second. Bloop. Bye. Bloop. Bye. Once he gets damaged, he gets way too much mana. That has to be fixed, because he's just throwing those guys every few seconds. I think he threw like 6 units this round. That was pretty insane. And yeah, let's fast forward. I think I rolled down just all my gold, because why would you hold on to your gold right now? And I even thought about getting Phantom in here just to, you know, once you're very confident you're gonna win, you might as well do a little bit of limit testing. See if you, for example, bring in the Synalf instead of the Tatooine. I mean, it's gonna work out better, but... Or even the other way, bring in a Tatooine instead of the Synalf. See how that works out, right? Just try to play stuff you wouldn't usually play around a little bit with it, and see how it influences the game and see what changes. Just to get a broader understanding and test things out. There's another Furiox, but yeah, at this point I don't think... Are we gonna get the Apun in the end? I think it's too late. I could have sold some units, sold the Rampy here to roll a bit more. So that's gonna be the final round right here, and let's look one more time. Let's actually keep count how many times the Mammoth is gonna throw away the enemies. And we get one. Bite. Now we're gonna also see the value of the Saccharine Escape, because, yep, here we go. Untargetable, invulnerable. Couldn't take down this guy. Bloop. Bye, Matu. Bye, Ripelands. It's such a counter to the fighter build, the stage 3 Mammoth. Just chucking away the Ripelands is gonna help you so much. And that is it. Here is the final screen. Let's look at the top 4 players. So I played Psions, very classic, very straightforward build with 3 Mystics right here. We also got the Monarch, the Matu, which were kind of our win condition next to our Mystic in the end game, and just the perfect augments on our Furiox. Big damage augment, and also big attack speed augment. Then we got Ripelands with Toxic with Corodulux. If he maybe found a second Colossus with Titanor or Gnarl, that could have worked out really well, just get a bit more tanky. He also had a Axodon, which can be really good if you have Tsunami with it. So really good units, but just missed a little bit of synergy and couldn't really piece it all together. Also only 7 units. So kind of ran out of economy, ran out of steam early on, probably from rolling for those 2 guys. Then we have here the Rogue player with stage 3, stage 3, stage 3, stage 3, also a Ripelands, funnily enough. So definitely feels like a stronger board than the guy above us. Just didn't have enough health. Then number 2 had a lot of health till the late game because he had a good win streak early on. But yeah, Illuviana here could have done a little bit more damage later on. And yeah, then we have the others. And that's gonna be it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope this helped you a little bit understand the game a little bit better. And we're gonna do more of them, because I think that helps a lot if after the game I've recorded it and after the game I'm talking you guys through it. My thought processes, what I could have done better. I found a lot of things of those, what I did good, and so on. Thank you very much for tuning in. You see it right here on screen. Code PASS is the code that you should put into your Illuvium account profile settings. It's gonna help me out a lot. This is basically how you can support the channel, how you can say thank you for the content creation. It's not gonna take anything away from you. Just gives me a cut from Illuvium if you buy anything with Ethereum and in the cosmetic store and fuel and so on. If you don't want to use my code, that's fine. Use somebody else's code, but make sure to support our content creators. Thank you very much if you support me. I'm gonna be streaming probably tomorrow, so keep a lookout for that. It's gonna be on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Make sure to follow me on all these channels, and I see you guys very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.